The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker shows President Trump trailing Joe Biden in two key states. In Wisconsin, the former vice president leads by 5 points, after President Trump won by just 1 percentage point in 2016. In Arizona, where President Trump is campaigning tonight, Biden leads by 3. A win here would be a huge shift for Democrats. The land of John McCain and Barry Goldwater has voted for only one Democratic president in the last 70 years. CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, joins me now to help us understand what's behind these numbers. All right, Anthony, a great deal of interest, to put it mildly, in anything and everything you have to say. So let's start with Joe Biden. Where is Joe Biden making gains with voters to give him leads in these states?
But no pressure, right, Elaine? But no pressure.
No pressure, Anthony, no pressure. So tell us everything now.
Okay, so here's everything. Well, let's start with Arizona. It's not everything, but it's a lot. It could be a pivotal state, right? In Arizona, one of the things we noticed was that seniors in particular were concerned about coronavirus, didn't like how the administration was handling it, and that is giving votes to Joe Biden. Let me take you through that for a second. So what I mean is, I'm going to show you this question very specifically. We asked seniors in Arizona, are the Trump administration's policies putting you, seniors, more or less at risk? And this large percentage, 44%, thought they were more at risk. And then what happened was we went and looked at who these folks were voting for, and 95% of them were voting for Joe Biden. Seniors are a huge voting bloc in Arizona. It's more than a quarter of the electorate there. So that's important, and that's part of the dynamic that's going on. Of course, the state was hard hit this summer, but some of the way that the president was seen to have handled it clearly lingering in the minds of a lot of voters, Elaine.
So, Anthony, according to the U.S. Elections Project, close to 30 million voters have cast their ballots. That's already a fifth of 2016 turnout. What do we know about who is voting early and who those voters support?
Yeah, we know a lot, actually. And the way that we know this is that states not only tell you how many of these early ballots have been requested and returned, but they also, where they keep party registration on file, can show you whether they're coming from registered Democrats or registered Republicans or independents. Now, it doesn't mean we know how they voted, but you can get a sense of the patterns from that. And I can tell you that nationwide, registered Democrats are outpacing registered Republicans in those requesteds and returns based on our CBS News analysis. And then the other thing we can do is we can look when we do polling and we can ask people, have you returned your mail ballot? And if they have, we ask people who they voted for. And in the case of, since we're talking about Arizona here, how it was that people voted when and if they voted early, I can tell you that people who voted early were saying they had voted for Joe Biden by wide margins in both Arizona and in the state you mentioned before, Wisconsin. So in that case, what I think we're going to see is that continued pattern of Democrats maybe outpacing Republicans in the mail balloting, and then Republicans tell us they're going to show up in person. And then the question will be, can they turn out in large enough numbers to put the president over the top? That could be a key election dynamic.
You know, this is such an unprecedented year. We've been continuing to say that. But more broadly, Anthony, do we have any way to tell who actually benefits from a high turnout election?
I think we might. I think what will happen is you'll see those numbers of early returns. And by the time we get to November 3rd, we'll have a sense of not only how many people have voted, but what remains. And you'll also know who the people who haven't voted, what kind of partisanship they may have, and we'll know their demographics. So we'll be able to say, okay, there's however many million votes still out there in a state, and can whoever we think is trailing in the race, either through the polls or what we think out of the registration, can they catch up? So the broad answer to the question is, I think we'll get to election night and we'll have a sense of how much impact that early vote has had up to that point. And it'll be very different from most elections, where we know there's some absentees, but we really are waiting to see all that happens on Election Day.
All right, can't wait. CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto. Anthony, always so great to have you. Thank you. And a reminder, for more information on how to vote in your state, head to cbsnews.com/vote.